show. I want to switch over and cover this trailer for Stranger Things, because with everything that's going on, it's important to remember that this entire thing that's going on right now here on Earth is spiritual. And you would hope that everything that's going on, people are starting to feel it. The ones who are not followers of Christ, and maybe it'll help them pick up a Bible and realize that this is prophecy. I know personally, I've been awake for a long while. I've been doing this on YouTube for a while, 6 years on YouTube, I guess. I've never felt like this. I've never felt, hey, this is happening now. Like this is coming. This is in our window. And I've known of Agenda 2030. I've known of all these things that they've had planned. I've covered them all. But I've never woke up and spiritually just felt it and felt the pressure and the importance of discussing these issues. Now, the reason I'm covering Stranger Things is because this show is filled with predictive programming. And I don't know a show that shows you more of what's going on with everything as far as CERN goes, as far as the spiritual realm, and bringing over what's on the other side. So the fact that the trailer just came out, I wanted to cover it, even though there's more important stuff going on. There's nothing more important than what's going on spiritually, okay? Because it all ties in together. So if you didn't see the video I uploaded earlier today, if you didn't get a notification, watch that video. It's a longer video, but you need to know what's going on in China, and you need to prepare for it. Because the civilians are being treated like rag dolls. And in America, all we do is talk about nonsense, just nonsensical issues. We actually have to debate with insane people who would be committed any other era of life in any civilization for being mentally insane. We have to debate with them and argue about these things to try to protect kids and try to protect our society as a whole. And everything is crumbling because everyone's wasting their time with people who are nonsensical, who shouldn't even be here in the first place. And what's going on in China needs to be talked about. And you need to at least be aware of it. So that video is up. And also, before I get into this real quick, people are talking about what can we do? How do we prep? I can't recommend certain things to do because I don't want to, talk for a product, speak for some product and be like, oh, I'm promoting this product. If other people do that, it's fine. It's just not something that I want to do. I don't have an affiliation with any company. I would say do your research. The best places to do it would be on my website or on your own. Look it up. If you want to find preppers on YouTube, there's videos there. People on the website are interacting with each other, sharing what they're doing to prepare, what they should have. There's so many lists of supplies you should have, what you should have if there's an EMP attack, those types of things, what you would need, Faraday cage and all that type of stuff. So you could learn and you could get ready at least to be somewhat prepared for this. You don't need to panic and be chaotic about it, but you need to be ready because you could laugh it off now, but when it happens, you'll probably be like, I should have probably, thought about that or looked into it instead of, looking at what color I should paint my nails today or what lipstick I should wear. And I'm not talking about women. I'm talking about men and women because men do the same thing. And it's insane what's going on. So that video is up, and also check out the website for more info. Now, Stranger Things came out with the trailer for their new season. Stranger Things is the whole show is about what's going on with CERN. It's probably the most popular show, one of the most popular shows there is now. Everybody watches it, everybody talks about it for the most part. I mean, I know most of you probably don't. I've seen the seasons of Stranger Things, watching it to cover it and seeing what in the world they're showing, and it's pretty on par with what's going on with CERN. So I'm going to show you some clips from the trailer and listen to some of the things about the war that is coming. Okay? You'll see in the first screenshot that they show the Hadron Collider, it's demolished, it's destroyed. The series constantly is showing the Hadron Collider trying to open a dimension, what they call the upside down. This is exactly what they're doing in the real world. So people do videos and people talk about people like me, and they're like, these people are crazy. And then you talk about what's going on with CERN, and they openly talk about trying to blow a hole in the atmosphere. And we have these guys with the quantum computers talking about demons coming over, and they're like little smart people, and they're going to be here. And of course, we have the alien deception that they're constantly pushing, which I'll cover in more recent, newer videos coming out, what they're doing with NASA. But take a look at some of the clips in the trailer. Of course, you'll notice black goo. You'll notice the demonic beings. You'll notice going to the other side and bringing what's over.
You've broken everything. Suffering is almost at an end. A war is coming. I'm afraid your friends at Hawkins are very much in the eye of the storm.
I don't have my powers.
Without you, we can't win this war.
See you on the other side.
On the other side.
It's time. You have lost.
So when you see that, you might say, okay, and I had to cut it up and take parts out because of copyrights with Netflix because they're super gay. But that's the gist of it, right? And you hear the Separate Ways song by Journey in the backdrop, which, side note, was a song that I used to like before I was awake when I was much younger. But that was the song there, because separate ways. There's going to be people going separate ways, separate paths. Okay? And as Christians, as followers of Christ, however you want to label it, disciples of Christ, lovers of Christ, we have to stay on the right path, which is the righteous path. These people, a lot of these people who are going to perish are going down the wrong path, or you want to call it the left-hand path. Now, first I want to show you here is a clip from CERN, okay? Because some people out there see this and they're like, it's fictional, none of this stuff's happening, they don't have this type of technology. CERN's openly telling you that they're trying to bring demons over. Here's the commercial from CERN. Does this look like some wholesome thing that trillions of dollars of tax money has gone into and grants and funds? Because the government's been setting all of this up. And all of this stuff is coinciding with what you see going on now, with the destruction of Babylon, which is America, with these countries that are going to be, a great famine that is coming. Our government's turning on its civilians. This is all biblical prophecy. But this is CERN openly talking about bringing over what's on the other side. And of course, this is Stranger Things, pretty much telling you exactly what this machine can do.
How in Cosmos, Carl Sagan talks about other dimensions, like beyond our world.
Basically, there are parallel universes, just like our world, but just infinite variations of it.
We were thinking of more of an evil dimension, like the Veil of Shadows. You know the Veil of Shadows?
You can move forwards or backwards.
Well, is there any way for the acrobat to get to the Upside Down?
You'd have to create a massive amount of energy, more than humans are currently capable of creating, mind you, to open up some kind of tear in time and space. You create a doorway. The magnetic field, our environment, heck, it might even swallow us up whole.
So on top of that, when you throw everything together, then you get CERN openly telling you what their plan is. And people don't, it's just like people see fiction and they're like, well, that's different. He's got a monster coming over from the other side. But then these same people believe in ghosts. Like, I believe in ghosts. They watch these demon, spirit shows where guys walk around the house with their EMP or EMF devices and they hear sounds and frequencies. And they're like, that's true. And they go to psychics and they believe in all that stuff. But then when we openly talk about demons and stuff, they're like, no, that's not real. Huh? Well, what do you think a ghost is and these spirits are that you seem to believe in when it's convenient because you want to watch the reality show of somebody ghost hunting, but then you don't want to believe this, which I understand because you've been trained to think that all the stuff in these movies is fictional. But if you use your brain and think about it, all the stuff that we've seen is now becoming a reality. The outbreak stuff, right? We have the alien deception. Like, we have people on TV talking about aliens now like they're real. Like, it's not a thing where you go, oh, are aliens really real? They're just like, aliens are real and we need to figure out, what are they learning about us? And you're just like, wait a minute, what? You're admitting to the existence of aliens even though aliens are really demons? Where did we get to that point? Oh, right, because everybody's been groomed for that. So everybody just, it's incredible. But here's CERN talking about what the plan is.
July 4th, 2012, and scientists from CERN, the European Agency for Nuclear Research, step in front of hordes of journalists to unveil a scientific discovery that signals a new dawn in understanding our universe.
It is a milestone. I think we can all be proud.
Researchers created what's been called humanity's largest and most complex scientific experiment. A 27-kilometer, one-of-a-kind machine buried some 175 meters below ground to discover the Higgs boson, a pivotal building block of our universe.
So the Higgs boson is a fascinating particle because it's the simplest one. This has completely changed our vision of also the universe, because corroborating the fact that there's a Higgs boson means that we live in a vacuum that is very special. So it has changed a lot on the way we think about our universe in general.
The boson is part of what physicists call the Standard Model, a way of explaining what for 13.8 billion years has held particles together, maintaining our universe. There's just one problem. No scientists had ever detected it. That's where the Large Hadron Collider comes in.
So we're accelerating protons in opposite directions to very high energies in a 27-kilometer long tunnel, and then we bring them to collisions in different interaction points where we have then experiments essentially recording the data.
Okay, Olivier, why don't you tell me what's happening here?
What we see here is an event display, which essentially is a recording of one of our proton-proton collisions. If you like, it's a three-dimensional imaging of the data we are taking in our experiment and then being displayed in this way. So it's one out of billions of collisions we are taking.
So this is like a real-time imagery of what you're trying to do here. Teams like Oliver's from Geneva to Chicago analyze the debris of millions of collisions. Collisions, they say, recreate the beginnings of the universe. What are you hoping to achieve here?
Well, these collisions essentially are at very high energy, at the highest possible energy mankind has generated in particle physics collisions so far, and we hope to achieve conditions which must have existed very close to the beginning of our universe, namely after the Big Bang.
Of course, recreating the Big Bang is not a matter of just flipping on a switch. The LHC is managed by a control center on the French side of the border, where engineers like Mirko are responsible for injecting some 7 tera-electron volts into magnets, accelerating protons close to the speed of light.
On this screen, on this chart, you see the past 24 hours at the LHC. You see the black line indicates the energy of the machine, and the blue and red lines indicate the intensity of beams that are injected in the two directions into the LHC. We actually put them into collisions where the experiments can turn on their detectors and start collecting data.
If something was wrong with the machine, what would this chart look like?
Something like that, for example.
Is that telling me something's wrong?
Yes,
okay.
Indeed. We decided to extract the beam, restarting from zero, and it went smoothly up and this time, and it was pretty fine.
And while the machine runs smoothly now, that wasn't always the case. In 2008, after a decade-long construction, disaster struck when a short circuit caused an explosion that rendered the machine inoperable. Tell me about the worst day ever in this command center. What happened that day?
2008, when we broke the machine just 9 days after switching it for the first
You
time. You
broke the machine?
Yes, we got a technical problem into the ring, and there was one of the sectors that experienced an electric short, and actually there was somehow a small explosion inside the magnets. That was the worst day of my life. Everything got red on the screens.
The team almost halved the energy used by the system for the following years, so when they discovered the Higgs, everyone was a little shocked.
So there's a period of disbelief. Of course, as an experimental physicist, and when you're through observing something new, you just try to make sure that you're not observing something fake. When we finally accepted that it was there and we started to study it, so it was an incredibly exciting period.
But the Higgs discovery also revealed how much we still don't understand.
Now we really want to go beyond that model, because we know that it does not explain everything we see in our universe. As a matter of fact, it only explains 4% of the matter which we have in our universe. So there's much missing. And with the next phase of the LHC, we are now hoping to make new discoveries which go beyond our present understanding.
In June 2015, the system was turned back on after a significant upgrade, and this time delivering twice the energy used during the Higgs discovery. The scientists say they could be on the path to discover the gravitational forces that hold our galaxy in place, and even, potentially, miniature black holes.
There is theories out there which suggest that these microscopic black holes could be produced in high-energetic proton-proton collisions. And if we indeed find first signs of these microscopic black holes, then this could open the path to new extra dimensions in our universe.
But for the team that first discovered the Higgs, now it's not just what they think they might find, but what they've never seen coming.
I would say I have two dreams. One of course, is to see something completely unexpected. And of course, there's also maybe another aspect. There are fundamental theories that are incredibly elegant, incredibly beautiful, on how they explain a lot of the mysteries that we have in our fundamental laws of physics.
It's really real. They're just like, aliens are real, and we need to figure out, what are they learning about us? And you're just like, wait a minute, what? You're admitting to the existence of aliens, even though aliens are really demons? Where did we get to that point? Oh, right, because everybody's been groomed for that. So everybody just, it's incredible. But here's CERN talking about what the plan is. So what's important to note from the trailer that I showed you in the beginning, not just the spiritual warfare side of it, but talking about how the end is upon us. The clock that you saw in the trailer at 3 o'clock. You think the clock was at 3 o'clock for no reason whatsoever? I've covered 3 o'clock in the morning for as long as I've been on YouTube. One of the first interviews I did, I talked to a Satanist, and I've talked to others. They're former Satanists, not current ones. I would never talk to one. I wouldn't spit on one. Waste my breath. But former Satanists, they've openly discussed this, that 3 o'clock in the morning is their real witching hour, where they perform rituals, involve children, involve sacrifice, right? They've openly admitted to it. That's why there's all those songs about 3 a.m. I've covered that. I covered that guy, Jason Station, and these other YouTubers who have done these videos where they've done 3 a.m. demonic possession videos. And then people just think it's a giant joke, and they're reading Aleister Crowley's book, and they're doing all the rituals. I mean, it's insane. It's right in front of everyone's faces, but nobody takes any of it seriously. And with the snap of your fingers, it's going to be a reality. They are tearing a veil and bringing over what's on the other side. Whether anyone wants to believe it or not, I don't care if people call me crazy about that at all. Because all you have to do is just listen to what they tell you. And if you want to correlate and say, well, it's not the same as what's going on in Stranger Things, then fine. But what do you think the upside down is? What do you think that giant hadron collider is? What do you think? It's a coincidence that the writers were just like, all right, let's write a script. We're going to have this huge thing that nobody knows what it is. And it's just going to blow a hole in the earth. And people are just like, whoa, cool. They're such great writers. They came up with a great idea. Meanwhile, your own governments around the world have been working with CERN, funding CERN, testing CERN. It's already running, doing other things with the weather, let alone what it's about to do. And people just need to be prepared and understand what's going on. So that's the trailer for Stranger Things. That's, just more predictive programming. You can even see the black goo, right? What a surprise that this thing is covered in, black goo. I mean, it must be a coincidence too, right? I want to say it's not black goo, fine. Go ahead. I mean, what is it supposed to be? I read something, it was supposed to be something from Hellraiser. Then I read, something else is from Dungeons & Dragons. Well, of course it's from Dungeons & Dragons. Because this whole show is based off Dungeons & Dragons, and Dungeons & Dragons is based off magic. And people are like, Dungeons & Dragons is a fun game. I play with my friends. Oh, yeah. Dungeons & Dragons is known as a gateway into the occult. Many Christian preachers were warning about it back when Christian preachers actually were doing stuff like that instead of screaming about loving each other and supporting the LG and all the stuff they do now, which is insane to me. They were warning people about the dangers of these games and getting people into the occult. Now everybody practices these. It's everywhere. It's in everything. We see it all over. Everybody's like, I go to Disney. You go to the Magic Kingdom? They're like, oh, that's not the occult. Okay. Well, what's the occult based on? Magic? No? Oh, it's a different kind of magic. Oh, it's a different kind of